Good evening. Welcome to the Planning Development Advisory Committee virtual meeting by electronic participation for June the 14th, 2022. We'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with the roll call. Dan Kennedy.
Present.
Dennis O'Connor.
Present.
Steve Bassi.
Present.
I, John Sapoulos, am present as well. In attendance, we also have our clerk, Courtney Hortfox, our secretary treasurer of the committee, Lynn Banks, and county planning staff, Joanna Salzberg. So tonight there'll be two meetings, one being the Committee of Adjustment and a second being Advisory Committee. There'll be one minor variance application being considered by the Committee of Adjustment, and there'll be 3 consents for the Advisory Committee to review and provide comments to the county. Please note that the meeting is video and audio recorded, and all electronic meetings are uploaded to municipality's YouTube page. By registering to participate in the meeting by electronic means, you are consenting to have your likeness and comments recorded and posted on YouTube. Okay, so let's go. Lynn, did we have any disclosure of pecuniary interest?
No, Mr. Chair, we did not.
Okay, so I assume we have none from the floor. Let's move on to item number 5, approval of the minutes of May the 10th, 2022. May I have somebody to move and second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Deep, second by?
Second.
Dennis O'Connor. Okay, let's go around the table. All in favor? Dan?
In favor.
Dennis?
In favor.
Deep?
In favor.
I'm in favor as well. So, well, before we start into the application for a minor variance, I would like to state that the purpose of the hearing is to inform and provide the public with the opportunity to ask questions or express views with respect to the minor variance application before us today. The township requested you notify the secretary treasurer of the committee by email at lynnbanks@postlands.ca if you wish to be on record and would like to be notified of future hearings and decisions regarding this application. The format of the hearing as follows. Staff will present information reports specifically outlining the purpose of the application, summarizing compliance with the township's notification and submission requirements, and outlining staff comments, agency comments, and public comments of those who could not attend. The application agent will then present the purpose and details of the application and any further relevant information. Following this, the public can obtain clarification, ask questions, and express their views on the proposal. You'll have a maximum of 10 minutes to speak. Following this, the members of the committee can likewise obtain clarification and ask questions. Then the matter will be turned to the committee to deliberate the application and render a decision. Decision will be subject to a 20-day appeal period. So let's start with the 6A minor variance application D14-GIL Scott and Herminia Gillingham, 68914 Star Road, concession 4, front part lot 20, township of Pushlands, requesting relief of new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended from section 11.3 agricultural zone requirements table 11.2. The purpose and effect of this application is to provide relief from 1, section 11.3 table 11.2 to permit a reduced lot frontage of the retained parcel to be 98 meters instead of 120 meters as required. So Lynn, would you please summarize the application, notification, submission requirements, and outlining staff, agency comments and recommendations, as well as public comments of those who could not attend.
Notice of the application was given in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act. Notice requirements for the application have been met and the following comments were received. Township of Postlands Fire Services has no concerns with the application. The Township Building Department and Public Works do not have any concerns with the application. And the GRCA advised that they have no objection to the proposed minor variance application. The GRCA has reviewed this application, and information currently available at this office indicates that the subject property contains wetlands and the associated regulated allowances. Due to the presence of the above noted features, a portion of the subject property is regulated by the GRCA, and any future development or other alteration within the regulated area will require prior written approval from the GRCA in the form of a permit pursuant to Ontario Regulation 150/06.
Thank you. Would our clerk Courtney Hortfox please have the owner applicant join the panelists to present their application?
Hello, my name is Jeff Buseman. I'm with Van Harten Surveying, and I'm representing the owners of this property. This is a severance that has been approved by the Land Division Committee, and the property's on Forestel Road. Right across the road is the city of Guelph, the Hamlin Creek Industrial Park. The severance, as you can see in the top left corner of the parcel, the severance will be 60 meters wide and 75 meters deep. For an area of 0.45 hectare. The variance is for the frontage on the retained. You can see where the A is next to the 98. We're asking for 98 meters of frontage instead of 120, which is the minimum for a parcel greater than 4 hectares. The severance has been approved by Land Division Committee. The planning staff have written a report that's positive and supports it and recognizes meeting the 4 tests for a minor variance. I think it's pretty straightforward. I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Lynn, are there any registrants who requested to speak?
No, Mr. Chair, there are not.
Okay. Courtney, would you please advise whether there are any attendees watching the hearing would like to provide comments or ask questions regarding this application?
If an attendee wishes to make a comment, if you could just use the raise your hand function, it's located at the bottom middle of your screen. And Mr. Chair, we do have one phone-in listener, so I'm just going to briefly unmute them and see if they have any request to make a comment.
Great, thank you.
So this is the phone number, last 4 digits, 3826. I'm just going to unmute you. If you'd like to make a comment, please do so. If not, you can just stay silent.
Yes. Hello. I have no objection. We have no objection. We support this request. I'm just listening in.
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Chair, I don't see any hands being raised.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's turn over to the committee members who have some questions. So let's go around the table. Dan, do you have any questions of the applicant?
No, I think I'm fine with this one.
Dennis? Sorry, Dennis, you're muted.
Okay, I'm fine as well.
Okay, Deep?
I'm fine as well.
Okay, and I'm fine as well. So let's do the decision. In the matter of section 45 of the Planning Act as amended, a new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended, an application for minor variance requesting relief to permit a reduced lot frontage of the retained parcel to be 98 meters instead of 120 meters as required. And it's either approved, opposed, or deferred. So let's go around the table. Dan?
Approved.
Dennis?
Approve.
Deep?
Approved.
And I approve this as well. And it's going to be, the decision will be subject to a 20-day appeal period. Okay, let's move on to the next item, which is other matters. There are none. And the last item is the adjournment of the committee adjustment at 7:09 p.m. to have a mover through.
I can move it.
Move it by Dennis, second by Deep.
I'll second it.
Okay, second by Deep. Let's go around the table. Dan?
In favor or approved, yeah.
Okay, Dennis?
Approve.
Deep?
Approved.
And I approve as well. Okay, so let's get on to the other meeting. Okay, I'd like to call the Plan Advisory Committee meeting to order. As I mentioned before, we have three severance applications before us, so I'll start with the roll call again. Dan Kennedy,
Present.
Dennis O'Connor,
Present.
Steve Bassi,
Present.
and I, John Sapoulos, am present as well. I'd like to reiterate again that the meeting is video and audio recorded and all electronic meetings are uploaded to municipality's YouTube page. By registering to participate in meeting by electronic means or consenting to have your likeness and comments recorded and posted on YouTube. So next item is disclosure of pecuniary interest. Do we have any disclosures of pecuniary interest, Lynn?
No, Mr. Chair, we did not.
Okay, approval of minutes of May the 10th. May I have a mover and a seconder to approve the minutes of May the 10th, 2022?
I can move it.
Move it by Dan, second by Dennis. All in favor? Dan?
In favor.
Dennis?
In favor.
Steve?
In favor.
And I'm in favor as well. Okay, next item is application site urban design review. We have none. The next one is zoning bylaw amendment. Number 7, we have none. And we move into the land division, which is the severance application. So I'd like to note that the committee's mandate is only to provide comments to the county's land division committee when it considers the each severance for approval. Let's start with the, I'd like to also indicate that anybody watching would like to give comments or questions regarding the application, that they can be heard at the land division committee. Joanna, do we have a date for that land division committee when these will likely be heard?
Yep, through you, Mr. Chair. The committee date is July 21st.
Okay, great, thank you. So let's move into the first one, 8A, severance application B56-22, also known as D10 LIG, Elaine Ellis, Paul and Tammy Lightheart, Part Lot 7, concession Gore, municipality known as 6652 Gore Road, Township of Puslinch. Proposed severance is 0.4 hectares with 74.61 meter frontage, vacant land for proposed rural residential use, retained parcels 1.9 hectares with 10.28 frontage, existing proposed rural residential agriculture use with existing dwelling, barn, and shed. So is there an agent or applicant who can speak to this?
Mr. Chair, I've moved over the owner, who I believe is presenting the application themselves.
Great, thank you.
Good evening. My name's Tammy Lightheart, and I'm here to represent my family and myself. And we are the co-owners of 6652 Gore Road, and we are making application for consent and wish to sever a 1 acre parcel of land from our existing 5.6 acre property.
Great, okay, so you have anything you'd like to inform us about with respect to the severance application, Tammy?
We have also made a tentative application because we understand that we're going to have a minor variance because of the existing configuration of what we put forward. This seemed the most viable. And so that means that the laneway, that our existing laneway wouldn't meet the 25, I think it's 25 meter frontage. So we would ask, we were asking for that to be part of the minor variance. And as well, we have the issue of the MDS for our barn. And the reason that we have chosen this configuration is because it just flows the best with the property, and it follows the existing fence line, which is on a hill. And it just would make sense too, because the neighbors to the east of us, there's two homes currently on two severed properties, and it would be kind of in line, which would make the most sense. It would seem plausible that the house would be built in kind of line with those homes as well.
Okay, is that all, Tammy?
I think so, unless there's something you need to ask.
Sure. Sure. Well, look, I'll turn it over to the committee members, Tammy, to ask questions. Okay. So, okay, Dan, questions?
Yeah, the one concern, or what I feel is a concern, is the elevation of that area. It looks very low to me. So to be building there, I think it's either going to have to be built up, or, and then you may have a water runoff issue elsewhere. So that's my only opinion.
We don't currently, like, there's not too much water that lays there. Like, sometimes I guess after the winter there is some water, but it's not really been an issue.
Okay, any other comments, Dan?
No, that's it for me.
Okay, Dennis? You're muted, Dennis.
Trouble unmuting. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, just probably an awkward lot line following that fence line. I don't know if that can be straightened out at all or cleaned up a little bit.
I guess that's possible. We would, you know, obviously be willing to consider that. We were just hoping to kind of maintain the integrity. I guess the beauty of that is that it isn't a kind of a cookie cutter piece of property, so, and it would definitely be unique. But it's definitely something we would entertain.
Mr. Chair, maybe I can jump in real quick here as well. In regards to the configuration of that particular lot, planning staff at the county will be reviewing that for conformity with the official plan. The official plan requires properties to have logical lot lines, so that will be something that planning staff reviews as part of this consent application.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Dennis?
No, that's good. Thank you.
Deep?
Yeah, I just have a quick question regarding safe access on the I guess retained parcel as well, because it's going to be small. Have you applied for a building permit yet or not?
No.
Okay. No, my only comment was regarding, I guess, a safe access, safe entrance, if that's possible.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said.
My only comment was regarding the safe entrance of the retained parcel.
Lynn, can you help us out that staff have an opportunity to visit the site to look at that?
Certainly, Mr. Chair. Public Works did do a desktop review. Mr. Fowler also drove by the site. At this time, he doesn't have any concerns. He'll be looking closer at it for the minor variance and when stakes go in the ground.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. All right. My concern is, as both Dan and Dennis mentioned, first of all, it's a low spot. I looked at some topo maps and it looks like it's about 10 feet lower than the adjacent land. So I would think that would be a problem for drainage for whatever property that's or whatever homes can be built in the gully there. I would assume, as Dennis saying, it would have to be a lot of fill. Also, I agree with Dennis's comments on the fact that it's very irregular, and we should be trying to clean this up significantly. I look at the little projection of the property to the north. You know, it looks like something, a little piece of 14 meters by 22 meters. I don't know. It might be suitable for a backyard, but certainly wouldn't be suitable for a residence side area. So those are my two concerns, and I'm not sure about the the ability to safely drive out of a gully that's 10 foot deep out of there. So I'm going to suggest that we provide the following comments that are concerned with water runoff into the severed parcel. And second, concerned with the irregular lot line. And third would be the minor variance would be required for the retained parcel. And does anybody else have any other comments that we wish to incorporate into this? Yes, Dan?
Actually, just one more thing related to water runoff. If that property was built up, let's say 10 feet, then where does all that water that would have went there, where does it go?
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It's one thing to build it up, but then the next thing is, where does all that run off to?
Okay. So I guess we can revise that to say concern with drainage and a built-up concern with the concern with drainage, whether the property stays as is or is built up.
Agreed.
Yes. Elevations that stays as is or built up.
Yeah.
That work for you?
Yes.
Okay. Lynn, do you want to read these back to us?
Certainly. The committee's comments are that they have concerns with the drainage, whether the property stays as is or if it's built up. And they're also concerned with the irregular lot line for the severed retained parcels.
And also a minor variance is required for the retained parcel.
Yes, I have that. Do you want a comment regarding MDS for the barn that's located on the property?
Well, I think that's, is that not covered in your suggested conditions?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Okay, so I'll read so those are the conditions that we've added. So I'll read the conditions that staff are putting in there, that the owner satisfy all requirements of the township, financial or otherwise, including taxes paid in full and consent review, condition clearance fee, which the township may deem to be necessary at the time issue certificate or consent for the property and orderly development of the subject lands. Any fees incurred by the township for the review of this application, responsibility applicant, and for the township postage file with the secretary, treasurer of the Planning and Land Division Committee a letter of clearance of this condition. 2, that safe access to the proposed several sites can be accommodated to the satisfaction of the township before the township file with the secretary, treasurer of the Planning and Land Division Committee a letter of clearance for this condition. 3rd, that the owner obtains zoning conformity for reduced lot frontage for the proposed retained parcel of satisfaction of the township. And further, township file with the secretary, treasurer of the Planning and Land Division Committee a letter of clearance for this condition. 4th, that the owner achieves zoning conformity for the barn located on the retained parcel of satisfaction of the township. Further, that the township file with the secretary, treasurer of the Planning and Land Division Committee a letter of clearance condition. So I guess we don't need to say the minor variance because you've captured that already. So it's just the two points that we made, Lynn.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so
Mr. Chair, sorry if I
yes.
could jump in. The committee could also consider adding a condition for grading and drainage if that's something the committee is interested in, to confirm that the grading and drainage is to the township satisfaction, or the comment can be added as well. I just thought I would jump in with that option as well.
Okay. Can you read the first one, Lynn, with respect to the drainage?
That the committee had concerns with the drainage, whether the property stays as is or is built up.
Okay, and then we can add that that a drainage plan be provided to this for review by the township and to be approved by reviewed and approved by the township.
Very good. I've got that. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so let's go around the table. Sorry, we should have some mover and a second of these conditions. So may I have a mover and a seconder? First, Dan moves, second Dennis O'Connor. So let's go around the table. Dan?
In favor.
Dennis?
In favor?
Deep?
In favor.
And I'm in favor as well. Okay, that does that. So let's move into the next one, 8B, Seventh Application B 68-22, also known as D10-HAR, Marina Harrison, Part Lot 17, Concession Gore, municipally known as 6926 Gore Road, Township of Puslinch. Proposed lot line adjustment is 5 meters by 165 meters, or 125 square meters. Severed 2 on sketch. Vacant land to be added to a budding rural residential lot. Gregory and Herta Harvey, retained parcel 70.8 hectares with 342 meter frontage, severed 1 and retained on sketch. Existing proposed agriculture and rural residential use with existing dwelling, garden suite, and accessory buildings. Okay, so Lynn, were there any, were there any agency comments received? And if so, please read them. And likewise, are there any comments received from the public? If so, would you please read them? Sorry, Lynn, if you're reading them, you're blank.
My apologies, Mr. Chair. So fire and building have no concerns with this application, and the GRCA advised that the severed lot is greater than 30 meters from the wetland, and the lot does not contain any portion of the regulated area, so the GRCA does not have any objections to either application.
Okay, great. So Courtney, would you move forward the applicant or the agent?
Hello, committee members, Mr. Chair. Again, Jeff Buseman from Van Harten's representing the property owner. We have actually before us 2 applications. Technically on the agenda right now is the application for the lot line adjustment. I'll talk about that first. And then if you want, I can jump right into the other severance as well.
Separately, Jeff, that
Okay.
would keep it clean.
That's fine. So according to the agenda, it's the lot line adjustment first on the agenda. So on that sketch, it says lands to be severed number 2. And the idea is to add a small strip of 5 meters wide in the depth of the property of 165 meters and add it to the parcel to the left. The primary reason for that is that the house and the driveway are constructed quite tight to the right limit, and that would just give this person a little more room, knowing that a new severance is being applied for to the right of it. I think it's fairly straightforward lot line adjustment. I'd be happy to answer any questions about that.
Okay, so let's go around the table. Dan?
No questions on that.
Dennis?
No questions as well.
Deep?
No, I'm good with this.
Okay, I'm good as well. So the conditions we have is the standard condition with respect to satisfying the requirements of township, financial, otherwise, etc. I would suggest that we just add that we support this application and as a condition. So may I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Deep, second by Dennis. Let's go around the table. Dan?
In favor.
Dennis?
In favor?
Deep?
In favor.
I'm in favor as well. Okay, so let's go on to the next item. 7th application B 69-22, also known as D10 HIR, Marina Harrison, part lot 17, concession Gore, municipally known as 6926 Gore Road, Township, Puslinch. Proposed severance is 49 meter frontage by 165 meters or 0.8 hectares. Severed 1 on sketch, vacant land for proposed rural residential use. Retained parcel is 17.8 hectares with 293 meter frontage. Existing proposed agricultural and rural residential use with existing dwelling, garden suite, and accessory buildings. Okay, Jeff, please do the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the sketch, this is identified as lands to be severed number 1. We've got the parcel at 49 meters wide, 165 meters deep, to provide an area of 0.8 of a hectare or 2 acres. We looked at a variety of things, including safe entrance that's possible with this property. We also evaluated MDS, and we're clear and meet all the MDS requirements to the barns, particularly the barn to the right. And we also looked at the environmental features, and the severance has been set up so that we're 35 meters away from the wetland. So, and as mentioned in the comment earlier, that GRCA is satisfied with this application. It meets the requirements of secondary ag, as well as owners owned it for the appropriate amount of time, as well as this would be the first severance since March 2005. So it meets all the criteria of the county OP. Just to say also, this is located at the bottom of the township across the road to the city of Hamilton, and everything looks in order for this severance. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Lynn, with respect to severance, were there any differing comments other than what you read before for the earlier severance?
No, Mr. Chair, there were not.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's go around the table for questions of our applicant. Dan?
No, this one's pretty straightforward to me. The only comment I'll make is that here we are taking away another 2 acres of good farmland, or maybe it's not that great of farmland, I don't know, but at the end of the day, it's still farmland. That's it for me.
Dennis?
No, I'm okay with this. The MDS is fine. You can't do anything with those chicken barns anyway. So yeah, Dan's right as far as the reducing farmland, but this is again secondary agriculture, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Chief?
I'm good with this.
Okay, so the conditions that are existing are, the first is the financial conditions, and the second is that safe access to the proposed several lands can be accommodated to the satisfaction of the township, and further township file with the Secretary Treasurer of the Planning Land Division Committee letter clearance for this condition. So I'm going to suggest we also add that the committee supports this application. So may I have a mover and a seconder for the 3 conditions?
I'll move it.
Moved by Dan, second by Dennis. All in favor? Dan?
In favor.
Dennis?
In favor?
Deep?
In favor.
And I'm in favor as well. Okay, there's no other matters. There's no closed meeting. Next meeting is Tuesday, July the 12th at 7 p.m. Lynn, do we have an indication of what's on the agenda at this time, or is that too early?
It's a little early, but at this time, we don't have anything on the agenda.
Okay, great. Okay, so I need a mover and a seconder to adjourn the meeting at 7:33 p.m. Moved by Dennis, second by Dan. All in favor? Dan?
In favor.
Dennis?
In favor?
Deep?
In favor.
I'm in favor as well. Okay, guys, have a great evening and happy Father's Day weekend.
Okay.
Good night, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, take care, Joanna.